you crack a walnut using your neck? Or do you know someone who can do it? If not, you'll get to know someone who can soon. Welcome to a short journey during which you'll get to know Formula 1 driver's body and skills better. So, fasten your seatbelts and 3, 2, 1, go! Formula 1, the highest class of single-seat auto racing. One of the most physically and mentally demanding of all sports. Around 20 drivers competing on different circuits throughout the year. For one group, it's just one of many sports disciplines. For another, it's a meaning of life. I'm a proud member of the latter. And now comes something that I consider very sad. Quite a lot of people don't perceive Formula 1 as an equal sport to, for example, football or tennis. Also, many question the fact that Formula 1 drivers are real athletes. My talk will hopefully convince you that those skeptics are mistaken. Sometimes I can hear, "Oh, they are just sitting in a car and turning the wheel. How difficult can that be? I can do the same." It's a bad reasoning. F1 drivers do more than you think. They are not only real athletes, they are superhumans. They have to be in incredibly good physical and mental condition to be able to race at the highest level. So, what do I mean by all of this? You'll learn more after hearing the story of Tom. Tom is a professional Formula 1 driver. He is British, 21 years old, good looking, and very fast. To begin with, he needs to be really fit and as slim as possible so that he doesn't make his car go slower because of bigger mass. Therefore, he doesn't have huge muscles, but it doesn't mean that he isn't strong. In the beginning, I asked you about cracking a walnut with your neck. Well, it's a rather difficult task, but Fernando Alonso can do it. He is a double Formula 1 world champion. As you can hear, neck muscles are one of the strongest in F1 athlete's body. But why do drivers have such strong necks? Throughout a race, Tom experiences a force called gravitational force, G. 1G is a force acting on a stationary object resting on the Earth's surface. In our case, it's a head that weighs around 7 kilograms. At some turns, while braking or during crashes, that force can be up to 7G. What it means is that weight of 7 heads worth of force is pulling the driver's neck. For comparison, fighter aircraft's pilots experience even 9G force. The pressure on the body in both cases is huge. Without such strong neck muscles, like those of Tom and Fernando, the head of a driver would simply bump with big force into the steering wheel. Tom must also present really high endurance in order to survive around 2 hours of a race. It's hot inside the car, especially in tropical countries. The driver is almost in a lying position, tightly strapped to the seat. His movements are limited. During a normal race in mild climate, Tom can sweat off even up to 3 kilograms of his body weight. So imagine how he feels racing in Bahrain, where the temperature rises to 40 degrees Celsius and air humidity is 80%. That's hot. The speed is high, there is a turn every few seconds, no time to rest, no break between two halves like in a football match. Tom needs to be concentrated all the time and prepared for immediate decisions. His reaction time is very fast. Also, his eye-hand coordination is really good. It seems justified, especially since his steering wheel has more buttons than your PlayStation gamepad. Let's move further. During a race, Tom's average heart rate is 170 beats per minute and can increase even to 190. For comparison, average heart rate of a runner during a marathon is 160 beats per minute. What's interesting, some of the drivers run marathons as a part of their training routine. What others consider a main sports discipline is just an additional training for F1 drivers. Still not convinced? Imagine yourself in a 170 kilograms car with 700 horsepower engine. You go 300 kilometers per hour. Your heart is beating 170 beats per minute. In around 100 meters, you have to brake, turn your car even up to 170 degrees, and accelerate to 300 kilometers per hour again. You can't afford the smallest mistake. But that's just one corner. You have to repeat similar procedure hundreds of times during several dozens of laps of one race. Oh, one more thing. Formula One isn't only about driving around the track for fun. Your job is to overtake as many drivers as possible and win the race. What can you learn from all of this? Although at first glance it may be difficult to tell, but Formula One drivers are not ordinary people. They aren't even ordinary athletes. They are one of the fittest in the world. They are superhumans. By taking a closer look at Formula One and showing what the drivers are capable of, you can see how phenomenal their bodies are and what limits they have, or maybe have not. Thank you for our journey.